Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for another Danesfield School webinar. Today we're looking at effective teaching using meetings and assignments. My name's Ben McGuinness. I'm a Year 3 teacher at Danesfield, and I'm also joined by Anthony Foy, who is also my teaching partner at school, also works in Year 3 and has been coming through the team's journey with us. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, then there is a Q&A section on the right-hand side of your screens where you can type some questions in, and then we'll try and answer those at the end, if that's okay. So feel free to type things in as we're going through, and we'll try and catch up with them at the end. So let's talk about what we'll be covering. So first of all, we're going to talk about meetings. Meetings are something that we use every single day with our remote teaching at Danesfield. And we're going to be talking about how to set up a new meeting, the different options for your meeting so that you're set up in the correct way as a teacher. How to join a meeting, there's different options for that. What you can do before you enter the meeting, so just before, your options there. What you can do during the meeting, what you can see and what you can achieve as a teacher, and also a new feature of of ending a meeting as a teacher as well. So we'll go into that a bit further. So you should, at this point, if you should have set up your class team by now. If you haven't done that, then check out one of our webinars from last week, which is on our website, danesfieldschool.co.uk. And there's a demonstrator school section on there with our previous webinars, one of them showing just an overview of what we're doing with remote teaching, and there is another one about the initial setting up your class team and what all the different features or the basic features of teams are. So make sure you've done that before you try doing this next point. So you set up your class team, you need to schedule your daily meetings with the children. So at Danesfield School, we have a timetable set up for the whole school so that every year group has an allocated time, a half an hour slot for their meetings with the children. And this just enables us to avoid any overlap with children in different year groups, have siblings in different year groups. And so throughout the morning to the afternoon, every teacher is giving an allocated time. And then if people are sharing devices at home, they haven't got to worry about the time frame there. All our meetings are recorded though, so if they do for whatever reason can't get onto a call, they can watch them back again. You can see our reception and our Year 1 classes are first up on our timetable. Now they use their meetings slightly differently to the rest of the school. They use it more for just like a catch up with the children, get to see all their faces, the children get to see each other, have a little chat. And just to check in with them, and then they do their teaching in a slightly different way where they pre-record their lessons. The rest of the school, Year 2 upwards, they use the meetings for that reason, but also to do live teaching as well. So let's have a look at what we can do with our meetings. So we're going to look at setting up your first meeting. So when you've got your class team in front of you, you can click on the calendar. And in your calendar, you can see all the meetings that have already been scheduled, that have already been set up. So you can see our morning register there for my class, but I'm going to click and select a new meeting. I'm going to give that meeting a title. And just for this example, we're going to call it a class meeting. And then we can add the required attendees. So this is the children that you would add. You have to add them individually, unfortunately, but these are the children that you want to be in your meeting. You're inviting them to your meeting, but you don't have to fill this section in. You can leave it blank, and you'll find out why in just a moment. But by doing it this way, all the children's names that you add to the attendee list, you'll be able to see their names come up in a participant list when you have the meeting running, and then you can see the children that you have invited but that haven't joined the call. So it's been really handy just to pick up on the children that maybe regularly aren't attending the meetings, and you can just see that at a quick glance. So we need to choose a date and a time for our meeting. So we can do that, and when you choose a finish time, it doesn't mean that the meeting's suddenly going to end at that time. It will run over, but if you're inviting people to a meeting, especially if you're doing like a staff meeting or something with adults, then good to give them an expectation of how long it's going to go on for. You can also set an all-day meeting, so if you want to block out your calendar for that day, then you can do that. Now we can choose if the meeting is repeated. So at Danesfield, our class meetings are the same time every weekday. So I can click on every weekday and then I get Monday to Friday. I just have to do one meeting and then that will go into my calendar for all of those days. So I can also set this up for the channel, a channel for one of my teams. So this is a meeting for my class 3M team and it will post to my general channel within that team sort of 10-15 minutes before the meeting starts, and then the children will be able to join the call that way if they want to. So this is where I was saying you don't have to put the children's names in the attendee list if you don't want to, but then you won't get the list of people you have invited once you've got the meeting going. You can check, there's a schedule assistant on there as well, so the people that you have added, it will check their schedule and you can just make sure there's no overlap there, make sure that no one else has got a meeting at the same time when you're trying to book your meeting in. So that's a really handy tool, especially again if you're booking meetings with staff and they've got lots of other things going on. So we can go back to the details. You can add more information down if you want to, but I'm just going to click send, and that will send a notification to all of those people for that meeting. So now I can see that the meeting has been added to the calendar, and then that's just going to update there, and we'll see it will go dark blue once it is ready to go and ready to join. So that's the basics of setting up the meeting. We're going to have a look at the options that are available now for the meeting, and this is a really important feature as a teacher. We can talk about the lobby area, we're going to talk about seeing people joining and leaving, and then also who can present, which is really important. So once our meeting has gone dark blue, like I said, on our calendar, we can double click it and then we'll get the details of the meeting back up. And now we've got a new tab within our meeting that says meeting options. Now, if I click on the meeting options, it opens up a page within web browser. And then you've got the information for your meeting on there. Now the lobby, it says who can bypass the lobby. So this is if you had guests that people aren't within your organisation, they automatically go into a lobby when you create a meeting, and that just means they can't just join and see everything that's going on without the organiser's permission. So if you are the organiser of the meeting, you then you'll get a notification come up on your screen and it will say someone's waiting in the lobby, do you want to let them in? You can also choose whether it announces when people join or leave. And this is the most important one, who can present? Only me means that you, the organizer, the teacher, can present during the meeting. This is really important. There are 3 different types of roles within a meeting. You can be an organizer, a presenter, and an attendee, and you can see on here what those people can do. And as an attendee, it takes away lots of the features, which so your children will be attendees. If you don't set this in your meeting options, change the meeting role to who can present, only me, then everyone in your meeting will be a presenter. And as you can see, as a presenter, it means that children can share their screens. It means that they can remove other children from the call. It means they can mute and unmute other children. So it takes away a lot of the control from the teacher. So it's a really important feature. As an organizer, you're also a presenter. And you'll see later that during a call, you can make other members of staff or children presenters as well. So really important thing to think about on there. So next, we're going to have a look at the options to join a meeting. So there are 3 ways for you to join a meeting. They are, you can do it via the channel. So this is the channel that the meeting was set up on in my year 3 team. And you can see in the post section, it's just got a meeting now, and it allows you and the children to join just by clicking on join there. So click join. The meeting will start up and then you'll get your options before you actually join the meeting. The other option is to go to your calendar, find the meeting on there. So we'll go to class meeting. I can double click that. And again, you've got join up in the top right hand corner. And finally, If you have chosen particular attendees to join your meeting, they will receive an invitation via email, and then on the bottom of the email it says join Microsoft Teams meeting, and that is a link to the meeting, so they can also accept the meeting or reject it, and they can click on the link and that will take them into the meeting as well. So before you join the meeting, so you click join, it brings you to this screen, and you've got some options before you go straight into that call with the children or with other members of staff. So the first one is turning your camera on and off. So you don't have to join the call with your camera on. You can do that, and if your camera is on, then you get this second option of being able to change your background, which we're going to go into further detail in just a second. And then you can also mute or unmute your microphone. So quite often when we, as teachers, when we join the calls, the children are way ahead of us and there's lots of children in there. So we'll join the call, usually muted, and just see what's going on and allow the children to settle down, unmute microphones, and then ask them to mute their microphones and turn their videos off during the call. So changing your background. So if you've got your camera switched on before you join a call, you have an option to change the background. And this is a really important feature for us at Danesfield, and it would be for any teacher, especially now if you're working at home. Good safeguarding point. Not many teachers are probably going to want their children to see inside their homes. So you have an option here to blur your background. So obviously, as you can see there, you can sort of see colours in the background, but it's all blurred. And then Teams now gives us all these options to do lovely beach scenes, or you can make it look like you live in a beautiful, clean, white, pristine apartment. There's lots and lots of fun ones. There's some colourful ones there that we use when we do birthday things with the children. You can also pretend you're at school. I'm not sure if teachers will want to be doing that, but you can have a nice little classroom scene. The children love the Minecraft backgrounds, go into a Minecraft world, so the children have this feature as well. And then finally, there is a way that you can add custom backgrounds. So we've added one with our school logo on it, and then we've got a rainbow one with the school logo on as well, in honour of the NHS. So really, really cool feature, fairly new to Teams. But very, very effective and a great safeguarding tool. So now I've joined the call, I've set my background up, I've chosen if I want my camera on. Let's look at the features that you have whilst you're in the call. So there's a menu just in front of me there, and we've got to turn our camera on or off. So we can still do that during the call, not just before. So if you've chosen to have it off, you can then switch it on. Same with your microphone, you can mute it or unmute it during the call. If you're sharing teaching with a teaching partner, just as we do at Danesfield, important to mute your microphone if the other teacher is speaking, just so you don't get feedback and things like that. Another incredibly important tool for us is sharing screen, which we'll go into more detail in a second. You've got an ellipsis here, which you see a lot around Teams, and we talked about it in our setting up Teams webinar. The ellipsis is always means that there are more options. So we'll have a look at that a bit later. A brand new feature to Teams is the raise hand feature, where children can click to raise their hands. And again, we'll see that later within the participants list, where you can see which children have raised their hands to maybe ask a question or answer a question during teaching. Really, really brilliant feature. You've got a meeting chat. So when you set up a meeting, it comes with its own chat for that meeting. So everyone within that meeting can chat to each other, and there'll be a chat bar down the side if you click on there. And sometimes children can use that to ask questions if they don't want to speak, so they can type in there. So nice feature. And then you've got your participant list. This shows you all the children or all the people that are in the call or have been invited to the call but haven't attended. And finally, you've got your hang up. So at the end of your meeting, you can hang up. This is more important if you haven't organised the meeting, and you'll find out about ending the meeting using more options later. So if you're just in a call with someone else, that's how you would leave the call and hang up. So next I'm going to talk about sharing of screen. Really, really important feature for us at Danesfield. We use this in every single lesson for live teaching, and you can see from the clips that are playing in the background there, We use it for Microsoft Whiteboard to scribe, so you can see our math lessons. We ask children questions and we're able to then write on our screens, and then all the children can see that, so they can answer questions and we can fill it in as they go. Sharing PowerPoints, also sharing videos with the children. So if part of your teaching in the classroom would normally be for the children to watch a video, you can share that video with the children and share the audio from your computer so that they can hear the sound of the video at the same time. Really handy. The other reason we use it is just to guide the children. So if we've got something we want to show them on Teams, this is where you find your assignment, this is where we want you to save your work, we can just share our screen and we can show them through Teams where they need to access that point. Or even if you're trying to show them something on a website, you can share your screen and they'll be able to see that live as you're doing it. So that is something that we use for all of our lessons. There's lots of different things that teachers do with it. That's the main ones that we're doing at the moment. So next is our participants list. So there's lots and lots of features in here. So when you click on your participants list icon, you get on the right hand side of your screen, you can see our children in the middle. You can see there's 9 children now, also a new feature of Teams in the UK. Was 4, now you get 9 at a time, and then you get your attendees list down the side there, which obviously I've had to blur the children's names, but you can see that I've got circled there mute all. So as a presenter or organizer, you can click mute all and it will mute all of the attendees' microphones. So when we join the call as teachers in the morning, the children are having a chat with each other and catching up. So we get to go on and say, could you please mute your microphones, and give them a minute or so, and if not, then we will just mute them all and then it's done. So really, really good feature. Now there's next to every child or every attendee's name, there'll be an ellipsis, again, more options, which allows you to mute that participant. So mute that person on their own individually. If sometimes you might mute all and then someone will join the call and be unmuted. So you can go on and just mute that person. Also allows you to pin a person. So you can pin, I think it's up to 4 people. And by pinning someone, it means that instead of whoever is speaking comes up on the screen, it means that whoever you have chosen to pin will be shown on your screen. So again, if you've got lots of children and you want to focus on just a few, then you can pin them onto your screen. It also allows you to remove people from the call for whatever reason that may be, and it also allows you to change people's roles within the call or the meeting to a presenter. So there I am with Anthony, who's going to be joining us today. I've clicked on the ellipsis and I would make him a presenter during our call, so then he can also share his screen and mute children. Next one is the hand raise. So we talked about that. So children can raise their hand, and you can see on some of the images that children have got their hands raised. So where their video shots are, you can see that they've got the hand raised. But then obviously if we've got 60 children in our call, so we can go onto the attendees list and then we can see who's got their hand raised. If one of us is sharing our screen, then so if I'm sharing my screen, then Anthony would then be saying, oh, this child has got their hand raised to answer the question. So again, really, really good tool, and it stops having lots of children shouting out at the same time. Really good. The next one is to download an attendee list. So if you want to register your children, instead of having to go through all of their names, during the call you can click on that down arrow and it will download an Excel spreadsheet showing all the children's names that are on that call, when they joined, and then also when they leave that call. So a good way to keep count of the children that are on, and evidence for registers during remote learning time. It also allows you to invite other people to the call. So if you want to add extra staff, so we've had times where we might want to add senior leadership to a call they wouldn't normally be on, or like a guest presenter, or add other children. So you can do that once the call has started. You can also invite other people to join. Is that ellipsis for more options. So before you during your call, you can click on the ellipsis, and these are the other options you get. And one of them is to start recording the meeting. Now, like I said before, we record all of our meetings as soon as we join the call. We hit record, and this just means that one, you are protected during if you're doing a call with all these children. So everything is documented, but also it means that if children join the call late, or if they can't make the call for whatever reason, or if they want to watch the call again to rewatch some of the teaching, then they can do that. And we share that through Microsoft Stream on a tab within Teams. Within about 10 minutes, your video is ready at the end of your call. So we love using that every single day. You can turn off incoming video. So again, an important feature if you're having problems with like internet, if your bandwidth isn't great, and I mean, like seeing 60 videos like flicking on and off your screen can cause problems. So you can turn off incoming videos, or if you find them distracting, you can do that. But that will only work for you. So it will just be you stopping seeing all the video feeds that are coming in. Everyone else will stay the same. You can also change your background effects. So if you've chosen one before the call, then you can change it during it, or if you haven't chosen one, then you can add one during the call if you've forgotten to. And then you can add meeting notes when you create your meeting, and then so if you want to show meeting notes, it will go on that right hand side if you've got any bullet points of things you want to talk about in a staff meeting. So I'm going to pass you over to Anthony now. He's going to talk to you about assignments and how you can set them up. So Anthony, are you there?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you also for your questions coming through. We can see that. So we'll get to them at the end. So I'm going to tell you about setting up the assignments. So there's two different ways to get to the assignments. We're going to show you how to create a new assignment. We're going to show you how to add resources to your assignments, how to schedule them for future dates. We'll show you what the students see when you set these assignments, and how they can edit documents and how the teachers can edit those documents, and how we give feedback to these children as well. So there are two different ways to get to them. In order to create them, you can go into the team that you want to set the assignment for, click on the assignments tab at the top of the interface, or you can also use the assignments icon that's in the app bar on the left. So you click there and then you click create. You'll be taken to a screen that asks for the assignment title. So yeah, if you click on that assignments and then just create, and then it will ask for a title. Now, we normally just put the date or the subject or the name of the activity. So choose your team that you're setting your assignment up for. Type in your title at the top, as you can see there. After that, you've got it's asked for instructions, so you write a message to the children explaining their task, and we go over that in our meeting call as well. And underneath that is the add resource option. So this has the attachment option. So clicking here will take you to the files that you want to add. So this is where you attach the work for the children to interact with. So it lets you upload from your OneDrive, class notebook, any websites, any documents that you've got on your Teams already, but it also lets you upload documents from your own computer. So that's the one that I personally use most, is uploading documents from my device. So anything you want to attach can go up there. Like I said, links to websites can go there as well. We often put blank documents up so that the children can edit them. So simply find the file, click on that, and then click attach. So you can attach up to 5 different files on here. We've been adding PowerPoints, Sways, Word files, PDFs, links to websites, Excel sheets. You can also add forms, quizzes on here, which we'll talk a bit more about later. And like I said, we put those blank documents up so children can just edit them. We also put documents up with lines on them so that children can print it off and handwrite these tasks if they want to. So here we'll show you the example of uploading the Word document. Clicking the ellipsis at the side there will let you decide if you want the children to be able to edit the document or not. Then simply select a due date and a time. And then you're ready to assign it. So there's the due date, there's the time for when the work is due in, and then just click assign. So now we'll have a look at how that looks for the children. So this is what the children will see. So they can get access to their assignments on the selected channel that you've posted that assignment to, or in the tabs at the top, or the app bar on the left again. They'll then see your instructions that you've written in there. If they go to assignments, that's on the tabs. There's the assignment will come up. So your instructions are on there for them. And the uploaded work files are there as well. So they can open that either in Teams or in a desktop browser. So they can edit the document in their browser, and that will automatically save on their Teams. So if they click on it, that copy will take it up there. As long as we've clicked that they can edit their own work, then they can write in there on their browser, and then it automatically saves. They just need to click close, and then they can hand it in. There's also a tab there for add work, so they can also attach any files by clicking that add work. Ours have been putting on sway presentations, photos and videos in there. So they can put in whatever they like. Ours, yeah, a lot of ours doing photos of their work and just attaching it that way. They would be using that add work option. So after your students have been set the task, you can go back to assignments to see how they're getting on with it. So if we go back to the teacher's view, find the assignment that you assigned, and this will give you a screen showing the pupils' names and the status of their work. So it tells you if they've viewed it, if it's been turned in, or if it's not been turned in. Click on the child's name or the status, and that will take you to their work. So you'll see the student's work. And that will it also tells you on there what time they submitted it. So it's got the date and the time of when they submitted it. Here you can view the work depending on how the students completed it. And you have a box there to give feedback to the students. So we've been given feedback the same way we would in school, given a little bit of praise to the work, given little pointers, next steps, depending on what's needed. If the child's edited it in a Word document, then you can actually go in and edit that document by highlighting errors or adding notes or changing things. So once you're happy with the feedback, just click return. That will notify the student. So the student can then see this feedback, and they've got the option then to edit and resubmit their work again if you would like them to. We've not been setting grading points, but there is an option to do that as well, where you can give them a score for their work at the feedback section. So you can click on close when you're done and go to another student, or click on the arrow and that will take you to the next student's work. One of the best features of the assignments is that you can schedule them to be released for a later date. So this means you can plan all your work well in advance, have the work on Teams ready to be released to the students at a time of your choosing. So at the bottom of the window, it will say assignments will post immediately. But if you just click on edit, select schedule to assign in the future, up the top there, and then simply choose the date and time that you want the students to receive the assignment. You can also select a due date in here and a close date. We've been giving the children a 2-week due date so that children can do work in their own time if they need to. But it also stops them from getting notifications that are worrying them saying, oh, your work's going to be late. So we've been setting it as a 2-week due date for them. We haven't really been utilising the close date option at all, but if you want to be strict, you can use that. This will close the assignment so children can no longer hand in work to you, so they won't be able to. So once you've chosen your date and time, just click done. The assign option at the top will change to schedule. And then you can set up that assignment to release whenever you've programmed it to. So you could set up your whole week, a whole 2 weeks, depending on how organized you are, and that will just release day by day at the date and time that you want it to. You can still go back in and change or edit the assignments at any time. So that's also true for assignments that have already gone live. You can go back and change them. So Yeah, we've been doing that. We've been scheduling all of our assignments, really. So quiz is another option that you have here, and this will prompt you to select a pre-made quiz that you've already made, but this is on the Forms app, which we're going to go into more detail in a future webinar, because it's a great option for cutting down workload for the teachers is the Forms quizzes. Because they automatically grade themselves and feedback the scores to the children, and they also feedback the scores to the teachers. You can also do it through the normal assignments way by choosing a link in a new form, but you can do it this way by clicking on quiz. We use it for science. What we've found with these forms quizzes is the multiple choice ones seem to be the best, because then things like spelling mistakes aren't going to mess up the feedback to the children. So we've done some science lessons, and then we've had a forms quiz. Here's one that we did on fractions, an end of unit check on fractions for the children. And you can use this, if you've got 3 classes in a year group, they can all use the same one. It marks it instantly. It gives the teacher that individual feedback. So yeah, that's a really great one for cutting down on our workload. You can also create grading criteria on assignments. So we haven't been using it, but I guess with older children, you would use this quite a lot. So you would create your own rubric here using your own success criteria. So just choose your class in the assignments tab. When you go to create assignment, and then it's got add rubric there. So you can just customize this with your own success criteria. So customize this template that they give you. So you would need to add a new one if you've not got one saved already, and put your success criteria in there, and you can use that to feed back to the children as well. So like I said, we've not been using that, but I can see high school students would definitely want that, maybe up to year 5 and 6. And then all you need to do is click attach, and then you've added that to the assignment. So that's how we've been using assignments here at Danesfield. And I'm going to pass you back to Ben, and I'm sure he's going to take some of our questions, take some of your questions together.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, we're just going to have a look at if there's any questions to answer. I hope that's helpful for everyone who is quite new to Teams and have got some ideas of how to best use their meetings and the assignments tab. We've got a few questions in here actually. Let's just have a little look. Okay, so Paul Anderson has said a typical class is around 30 children. How does that work with the current offering of 3x3 grid? So I'm only seeing 9 children. In terms of things have got better because it was only 4 children on screen. We don't see all the children on our main class calls every day. Like I said, if a child speaks, then they will go to the main screen. So if they contribute to the class, then they will go onto the main screen. What we have been doing is getting small groups of children together. So people that we know that are friends at school, we've been creating smaller groups so that they can do group chats together and video calls together with their friends, and then we can catch up with them individually or with like sort of 3, 4, 5 at a time. So we do get to see all the children, but obviously, yeah, like, I mean, we're doing our calls with 60 children at one time, so of course we don't see all of their faces that time, but we can see if they're on the call, if they're attending the call, and then if they have any problems with work, then they can contact us through the chat, and then we also run an intervention call in the afternoon for their maths and their writing work. So if they do need any extra support, then we get to see them then, and then they can join that call, and it's usually a small group. So we do keep in touch with all the children in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, you can also pin the children that you would like to see on that screen and change that around during your call if you'd like to, if you want to check for individual children during the call.
Great. Another question here from Laura. Says, when a teacher shares a screen, will it share everything on screen, or can you select, for example, just PowerPoint? Yes, Laura, you can do that. So when you click share screen, it gives you options down the bottom of your screen, and you can choose whether you share your desktop, which will then show everything you do within your computer, or you can choose just to share Teams, just to share a PowerPoint that you've got open. So yeah, it does give you that option. So if there's things that you've got on screen that you don't want the children to see, then that's not a problem. You just need to make sure you're selecting the correct box, correct icon. Any more questions? So there was a question about muting students, and then that one's been answered. That's great. If a student emails you a piece of work, instead of uploading it to a set assignment, can you attach it for them? I don't think. Well, I think we would have to log in as that student, and we don't have all of the students. We don't have their individual passwords. Every child has their own individual password. So if they struggle to upload it to the actual assignment, then quite often we'll do some share screen with them on an individual call and just show them how to do that. We've also made lots of instructional videos for parents. Some of them are on our YouTube channel, which are explaining to the parents how to help their children, or how to do it themselves if they want to upload photos and stuff. Or lots of them, like Anthony was saying earlier, lots of the children choose to submit work in different ways. So some of them, even if it's writing, will handwrite it and take a photo, and some of them will do it on the Word document, or some of them will do maths and they'll record a video. And so we're receiving things in lots of different ways, and a lot of the time we can still go on, if they send us something individually, email or through the chat, we can still go onto the assignment and give them feedback based on what they've given us, but obviously then their evidence isn't in the assignment. So I'm not sure what the way around that would be. Anthony?
I mean, some have emailed me their work, and as a teacher, really, I'm just happy to receive it, and I know that I might email back some feedback for that child, and it's just not kept. I can see why that could be a problem with the grading, though. But I think you would maybe just have to do that one manually. But some of them have been sending us emails or pictures of their work and not putting it in the assignments. But for me, like as a teacher, I've seen that, I've got the evidence, and I'm happy enough with that.
Yeah, someone's asked, they have said that the question has been answered, but they've said about, if you set only me as a presenter, how can students showcase their work? And obviously Paul who asked the question has picked up on it, but by changing during the call, you can change children to be presenters, and then they can take over and then share their screen. So that there is that option during the call, and then you can change their role again during the call as well.
Yeah. We do have lots of places for the kids to share their work as well. Our general posts, we sometimes encourage them to share in there. And we do Flipgrid, which we'll talk about at a later webinar. I don't know if we mentioned it today. But we've got lots and lots of ways for the kids to share their work. But I'm sure they can request control of the screen as well, can't they?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, and then you can authorize it as a presenter yourself, or as an organizer. Yeah. And also we set up in the files tab within Teams, we set up folders. If there's work that we want them to showcase, we want them to all be able to see each other's artwork or something like that, we'll set up a folder and just again share our screen, show them where that folder is within files, and then they can upload their work to there, and then they can all look at each other's work and we can showcase it that way. So like Anthony said, there are lots and lots of different ways. And Paul has also asked, can you give audio feedback? Like Anthony said, we use Flipgrid a lot, so we can give audio and video feedback with Flipgrid. I suppose the way you'd have to do it is you'd have to record an audio file and then attach it to the feedback, I guess. There's not an option for that at the moment, as far as I know, within assignments in Teams. but you can, I know that within chat, if you're chatting one-to-one or even on the posts tab within your team, you can record audio files on there. So if you wanted to give someone feedback, you could go to their one-to-one chat with them or to a group, and then you could record an audio clip for them there. Anything to add to that, Anthony?
No, I've not even thought about giving audio feedback, but yeah, we have done it on Flipgrid, and yeah, just you can send an audio message, I guess. But no, it's not something that I've come across.
I think that is all the questions that we've got on there. I hope that's helpful for everyone. If you have got any more questions, please get in touch with us at Danesfield School. If you'd like to view any of our old webinars, they're at danesfieldschool.co.uk and also on our YouTube channel, and we're always sharing things on Facebook. So we have our school Facebook page, Danesfield School, and then we also have Magical Creative Teaching and an Instagram with the same title, where we share teaching ideas and displays and things like that when we're in school. But we're also, Twitter's our big thing at the moment. Every year group in our school has a Twitter account, and then everything is then shared from those accounts and retweeted through the main Danesfield School account. So we're always sharing what the children are doing online through remote learning, and just showcasing their work and sharing ideas all the time. So please check those out. Feel free to get in contact at any point if you need any support with teams. And look out on Eventbrite and the website for our next webinar, which may possibly be next week, but it is half term, Anthony.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you up to date with that for the next one, possibly next week, when we'll be looking at, I think, some of the app features within Teams. Hope you found that useful, and like to see you all at the next event. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy the sunshine.
And enjoy half term if you've got one coming up.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.